When I was a little girl, my mom read to me every night. She gave me the love of reading, and that's where I learned to look for love a lot, was in books. And then my dad was so much fun. He would wrestle with us kids on the floor every evening. Oh, he'd sing silly songs, and we would go on road trips, and we would sing and harmonize the whole way. And it's their love that made me want a love like they had. They greeted each other when he came home from work at night, when he left in the morning, with a huge hug, an embrace, not just a hug, an embrace. Her on her tippy toes, because he was a lot taller, and he'd bend down and meet her halfway. And so that began my search for love and acceptance. I think the most difficult place for me to find acceptance was at school. From grammar school right on through high school. I wasn't one of the popular kids. I didn't play sports. I didn't have a lot of friends. I had a few friends, and it was just a tough time. I didn't date all the way through high school, not once. I had decided after hearing a sermon, the only sermon I remember in those years of my life, the sermon was Dare to be Different. And I decided I was going to be different in that era of free love and everybody talking about it and bragging about it. I was determined to be different. And so I didn't fit in. And that was what high school was like for me. After high school, I went to work, of course. And during that time still, my horse and my dog were my greatest loves. And it was still hard for me in relationships. And the first date I ever had, a guy asked me out for coffee one day. And that date turned into something that turned a lot more serious. And during that date, I lost the determination that I had had all during high school. And I gave away the most precious part of me that I could never regain. And that spiraled me down into self-loathing and self-hate. And the only way that I knew to cover that up, to mask it, I started drinking heavily. And the only time I found peace was after a number of drinks that covered up the pain. And really that was a big part of that part of my life, covering it up. At that time, I started singing country music in some clubs around New York City. And the alcohol was free. And so that just fed my becoming addiction, trying to find love, but the real love, the great love, that was gone. That was a dead dream for me now. I remember my mom saying this little line one time, well, they made their bed, so now they got to sleep in it. And that was me now. That was me. And so I didn't live with a hope for real love anymore. I just lived for the temporary, the one-night stands, a date, but nothing else. And that's just where I was. Like that song, looking for love in all the wrong places, in so many faces. And it became more elusive and almost a dead hope. At this time, singing country music, being on the stage, having an audience, one thing for me when I was up there, it gave me a boldness that I didn't normally have. And the accolades and the applause, it felt good. And so when I was on stage, when I was at the clubs, it felt good. I felt happy. But as soon as I went home and sobered up, the pain just came right back. Just came right back. And so it was from weekend to weekend, still looking, a hole in my heart where I still wanted love and acceptance. And with all the applause and all the praise, I still wasn't finding it.